How's it going, guys? Mutant XP on the mic. Welcome to another edition of the Mutant XPerience podcast. Pretty excited for tonight's podcast. Long time coming. We had a few restarts, a few false starts, but finally I was able to get the man in my. We couldn't even do it remotely. I had to get him in my house to make sure the podcast happened. So we got none other than Ryu expert from Japan, Daisuke. How you doing, Daisuke?
Yeah, very good. So thank you for finally having me today. And
Definitely.
it took so long time, but it's such a pleasure to join your podcast, Mutant. So yeah, I'm so happy.
So the first thing I want to ask you, Daisuke, is how the hell do you live in Japan, dog? So humid, dude. Like, this is nothing for you, right? Like, this is only okay, but in Japan, how humid does it get in Japan?
Yeah, but I can't say it because it was kind of given for me. So I was born in Japan and I had to leave. So but actually, summer is terrible, and especially I'm not sure if you know, but I'm from Kyoto, and Kyoto's summer is really hot and humid.
Hotter than Tokyo.
I think so. Yeah, and then winter. It's colder than maybe in Tokyo. So yeah, it's so crazy.
That's horrible.
Yeah, but it's good. Japan is a beautiful country.
Yeah,
you should come.
Yeah, definitely. So we're in here in my apartment, air conditioned, and so hopefully you guys enjoy this podcast. We're going to be talking about a ton of things. One of the things we're definitely going to be talking about, obviously, is Daisuke and his experience growing up in Japan, learning Third Strike. Because I really feel like one of the things that at least I haven't been able to sort of learn is just what are the differences between the way Japanese players learn Third Strike and the way American players learn Third Strike.
Right.
And so we'll definitely talk about that. We're going to talk a little bit about Ryu. Obviously, you play Ryu, but you're a little unique. You don't really use Denjin. You use Shinko Hadouken. Never SA2? Never?
Never. Basically.
Never?
Basically, yeah.
Never? Okay. Sometimes when you're after a few beers, maybe.
Right.
maybe SA2.
Yeah.
And so, then obviously we're going to talk about DTN, Defend the North. Guys, Defend the North is happening next weekend. Yeah,
wow.
July 19th to the 21st. Remember that the Defend the North is going to be the site of the Jazzy Circuit finale. There's going to be 4 last chance qualifier spots up for grabs. There are 160 players.
Wow.
Entered in Third Strike at Defend the North.
160.
And out of those 160 players, only 4 players will advance to the Jazzy Circuit finale, which will happen on the same day. And I'm definitely going to ask you what your thoughts are about, the Jazzy Circuit finale, Daisuke. And, obviously you've entered at Defend the North. And so, obviously, I want to ask you a little bit about, what you've been doing to try to prepare or, whatever, So yeah, we got a really good show, on tap. And so, once again, guys, before we begin properly, just wanted to let everyone know that if you have any questions for myself or Daisuke, obviously you don't have questions for me, no one has questions for me. But if you have questions for Daisuke, definitely type them on the chat. Let me know or let us know what your questions are for Daisuke. Now is your chance to ask them. And so that's pretty much that. So Daisuke, I thought maybe we could start by talking a little bit about just, your experience learning Third Strike. Like, I always ask a lot of my guests, like, do you remember the first time you saw Third Strike?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So do you remember the first time you saw Third Strike?
Yeah, of course. Like, I think it was when I was 17 or 16. So I was in high school, and I was a big fan of fighting games. Not only, maybe Third Strike, but also other games. And so actually, I had already played the first version and second version. I mean, Second Impact and the first one.
New Generation.
Oh yeah, New Generation. I forgot the name though. Yeah, I have already played, so I was kind of waiting for the last one because it was supposedly the last one. I felt it because like Capcom was really trying hard to make kind of maybe masterpiece of the series. I was feeling it when I was reading the Gamist
The
magazines,
yeah.
weekly, oh no, bi-weekly magazine, which was very popular back then, and then I was feeling it when I was reading it. So yeah, I clearly remember the first moment I played.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when was the first time you played? Was what arcade or where did you do you know remember where you?
Oh yes, yes. So I lived in. So I said I was from Kyoto, but I lived in the other city back then, and then there are tons of arcades like in 1995 or 7. So also my town, which was very small, has a like arcades, maybe one or two. So and then it was in front of the station. So I always went to this arcade and played a lot of games. And then South Strike just came out, and then I played. So very like simple story.
It's funny that you mentioned how you had this sort of feeling that Third Strike was going to be really good because like when I don't know if you remember, but like a few months ago, me and Arturo, shout outs to NYC Furby, obviously holding it down for Third Strike streams.
Yep.
He'll be streaming at DTN as well. But I don't know if you remember, but a month ago, me and Arturo, we hosted 3 for 3. On the same night, we did a New Generation, Second Impact,
Yep.
and Third Strike.
Yeah.
And like you can clearly see the difference, right, between the first two games,
Right.
and the Third Strike. Like the rumor is the first game it wasn't finished. They rushed it, right?
Yeah.
They just released it, because they needed to release something that quarter.
Yeah.
And then they sort of finished it in the second one, because if you look at the code for the first game, there's code for Hugo and other
really?
new characters.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh.
So basically, the first one wasn't finished. They released it very fast because they were behind schedule.
Yeah.
And then they released Second Impact. But then were you a fan of the first two games? Did you play it very much?
I played a lot, but not as a competitive player, but just as a one fighting games fan.
Did you play tournament? Did you play in tournaments before you learned Third Strike?
No.
No,
not at all.
So before Third Strike, you just played casually in the arcade.
Only maybe one time with X-Men versus Street Fighter.
X-Men versus Street Fighter.
Yeah, because before the release of Sega Saturn version, like Capcom had some event, and then the winner could get the actual soft before the release. So I went to the event. Basically, that one was maybe my first experience to join the tournament.
In a tournament.
Yeah.
So, around the time that Third Strike came out, which was 1999, what would you say was like the really popular game around that time? So like around 1997, 98, what was the popular Street Fighter game in Japan? Or at least maybe in Kyoto, in your arcade.
In my area, yeah.
Was it Zero? Was it 03? Zero?
Yeah, I think probably. So 03 was really popular.
Really? Yeah.
I think so. Was it before Third Strike?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think 03 was before Third Strike.
Yeah, 03 and somehow I remember like everybody was playing like KOF or other games.
Okay.
Maybe just it was because of that game center, that arcade was like that. So, yeah, and EX2, but EX2 was not super popular. I liked it, but it wasn't so popular. I think so. Alpha series was really popular. Yeah.
So when Third Strike first came out, like, do you remember what like the general reception was to the game? Like, did people like it? Did they hate it? Did they say, "Oh well, whatever"?
Yeah. So I remember like one anecdote. So as I said, I read the magazine. This one was, for specifically like arcade game fans, and but somehow around the release of Third Strike, the magazine's, how do you say it, like editor, the boss of this like editor, wrote down Third Strike looks good and looks solid, but it's not so looking fun or something like that.
Like, what do you mean?
So basically he didn't say it's the best game ever. But it was so weird. But because for me, as I said, I was kind of expecting the masterpiece might be coming out, and but he said like, oh, this game is not maybe super good or something, and I still remember it somehow because he was a kind of good critic. Always he wrote a lot of very long reviews for like each game, and I was kind of fan of him. But I clearly remembered, only maybe this time about Third Strike. Maybe I can't agree with his, opinion.
Yeah.
So yeah, and also I think it wasn't super popular when it came out. Yeah, because everybody was already skeptical about this series.
Same thing about same thing with same thing in America.
Yeah.
When Third Strike came out in America, it wasn't hugely popular. There were only very small pockets in America that really gravitated towards the game. But in general, when Third Strike came out, it wasn't very popular either. I mean, just from personal experience, when I first played the game. I played the game one time. I used Chun-Li, right, because I saw she was back. And then my initial reaction was, wow, this is so different from other Chun-Li.
Oh, yeah.
Because, and just the little things, like when she jumps, she spins, Yeah. Like, what did they do to Chun-Li in this game? I played it once, literally once, and then I didn't pick it up. I didn't pick it up until like maybe 2.5 or 3 years after. Because at the time I was playing the Alpha series.
Yep.
I was playing Alpha 3.
Alpha 3.
I was playing KOF 98, 99.
I think 98, 99 was really popular back then. Yeah.
And so, it wasn't like when Third Strike came out, it's like, whoa, this game is sick. Let's all start playing this game. Like in America, that wasn't the case. If anything, no one really liked Third Strike in America at first. So it seems like you're telling me that the reaction was kind of similar in Japan.
I think it was exactly the same. I think so. Basically, nobody expected anything for Third Strike, but it was born anyways. And then I think some very core geeks played this.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
It was the geeks.
Yeah, they played, and actually, like the top players, Japanese top players like Mester or Match, they were a big fan of Second Impact.
So they played Second Impact.
Yes, they were actually studying a lot. Or I should say, they are the only guys studying Second Impact. So.
Is it okay? Oh, no, it's okay. Okay.
Yeah, so maybe I think scene was similar to America.
Yeah, it was. The 3 series just as a whole wasn't very popular. Because when the first one came out, no one came back, right? No Blanca, no E Honda, no Chun-Li, no Sagat. It was just Ryu, Ken, and then totally different characters.
And then what is this big guy called Alex?
Alex, right? Now RX, he played Second Impact too?
I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
It was even funny because of the marketing in America. I don't know how they marketed New Generation in Japan, but when they first released New Generation in America, even the cabs didn't even say Street Fighter. The cabs only had the word 3 on the marquee.
Well,
I don't know if anyone's ever seen that, but let me see if I can bring
I want to see that.
Yeah, but basically...
I might remember something.
I think the chat knows exactly what I'm talking about. But basically, it was like... if I can find it here. Like when New Generation first came out... Sorry, I got like 3 mouses. If I can find it. Hard to find it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that.
Wow.
Yeah. When the game first came out in arcades in America, all the marquees, it just had this letter, this word 3. it didn't even have some of the characters. It just had 3.
Uh-huh.
And so like people were wondering like, what is this game? You know, like it's weird, right? Like how they chose to market new generation in America. But
Yeah, but it's looking like they were really kind of they wanted to have a big success for this game.
oh yeah,
right? And
Yeah.
then they wanted to kind of keep it secret, but still kind of attractive. Maybe I'm feeling like that from this like advertisement, marketing technique.
Yeah. And it's funny that you use the word masterpiece because, I'm pretty sure you've read the interview before, but remember the developer of Guilty Gear, his name is also Daisuke, right?
Oh,
Daisuke,
yeah.
What's his last name?
Ishiwatari?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember he had the interview a year ago, and in the interview he said that his favorite game
Really?
is Third Strike. And he said that he thinks it's the best Street Fighter game ever made.
Oh, I didn't know that his story. Yeah.
Yeah. He only recently gave that interview. I think it was like maybe a year and a half ago.
To who?
I don't know who the interview. I don't know who was interviewed him, but I know that he was quoted as saying that that Third Strike was his favorite game.
Interesting.
I was thinking maybe the editor made that opinion because when you think about like presentation, right? Like visuals, like new generation, Second Impact, like the stages, right? They're so creative, they're so involved, they're so detailed, so much going on. But you could definitely tell, and I was talking to KG the Legend. By the way, guys, we got KG the Legend in the house. He's actually working on the Mutant Challenge. Say hi, KG.
Yo.
he's trying not to get salty.
He's
Not going well.
he's still stuck in Japan.
He's still stuck in Japan.
He has never
Daisuke had to save him and get him to India.
Yeah, but
Yeah, reuse tough. So actually, I was talking to KG about this yesterday. Like, you could definitely tell, like Third Strike, like they really wanted to like focus on like the mechanics of the game, right? They didn't want to make. They didn't want to. It really looked like they scaled back on like the graphics, and they didn't want to make the stages too fancy, and they really wanted to focus on the game, and maybe that's why the editor thought it wasn't going to be a good game because maybe it looked too plain,
Exactly. Yeah, I think that maybe that the same was as like what I was feeling. So maybe he said because of that reason, and then because it didn't look like fancy.
Yeah, it didn't
game.
look like anything, right? It just looked like
plain. I think so.
Yeah.
Uh,
So you played first. You first played Third Strike in your hometown of Kyoto. When did the tournament start happening? Like when did you start, getting interested in competing in tournaments?
Okay, yeah. So it's gonna be I think a little bit long story, and
that's okay. We got all day.
Oh yeah, and also
KG ain't going nowhere. He's still in Japan.
Yeah. So to be honest, I wasn't a like competitive player. I mean, I was not so into improving or being strong in this game. So I was just a big fan and just a kid, who was playing this game a lot, but who wasn't so good at this game, right? So my case is not maybe typical. If you wanna see some good Japanese players, and then if you wanna hear the stories from them, maybe my case might be a little bit,
Well, that's okay.
That's
okay.
Yeah.
We still want to hear your experience. Though.
Yeah.
So how did you start playing in tournaments? Like.
So yeah, actually I didn't join any tournament maybe until quite recently, like maybe 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh wow!
When I was asked by my friends, obviously Ryan or other friends, and but before that I didn't play. I didn't join any tournaments. So.
But did you watch videos? Did you watch?
Hell yeah! I watched. Yeah, actually, it's a very interesting story. So even though I was not a competitive player and I didn't join any tournament, I really enjoyed watching matches, and I watched a lot. it was so fun. So maybe after graduated from the high school, I went to the college, and then in my college days, I watched a lot of videos. I think, yeah.
Yeah. And did when you were as a casual, did you always use Ryu or you used other?
Yes, yeah. I used Ryu. So even though I was not a competitive player, it might sound a little bit tricky, but I was not so bad. So of course, college students has infinite time to play, video games, hang out, whatever.
I don't know what college you went to. I was pretty busy in
Oh,
college.
really? Sorry, maybe this is only my
guess. You must have had a pretty easy college year, maybe.
Yeah, this is, I think, typical Japanese case. But actually, Japanese college students, I think they are very free. They can do anything. Okay. Yeah, very free, I think. Even maybe, Tokyo University or something.
Now, did you go to college in Kyoto or did you go to college in Tokyo?
I moved to Tokyo to,
college.
Yeah, to college. And yeah, so I played a lot actually, and
so when you moved to Tokyo, you started going to the arcades, right?
Right. I lived in Yokohama, which is right next to Tokyo, and actually the second biggest city in Japan. And I think there are many players. I still remember that I played Kokujin or Ru, yeah, who is also a real player, very good player, and I played a lot. I still remember, like, when one day I went to the arcade, the very popular one in Yokohama, right next to the big station, and then Ru was playing Ryu, and I think he was winning 50 times in a row or something, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna stop him, and then I stopped.
Oh,
yeah,
you beat him.
I beat him. Yeah, so. I still...
He wasn't very happy, huh? He didn't look happy.
Yeah, I don't think so because I think maybe I did some random shit. So
I don't want to interrupt your story because the story sounds pretty cool. But let's talk a little bit about Ru, okay?
Oh yeah.
So I've heard rumors that Ru does not really like Gaijin.
Oh really? Interesting.
Have you heard that before?
No, not really.
Because so I heard that I first went to Japan 2017. And I heard from, random players, that Ru doesn't like Gaijin. So the first time I went to Newton, I saw him, and he was using Urien. And because I think he doesn't use Ryu anymore. He uses Urien.
He stopped,
yeah. He used SA1 Urien or something.
SA1?
Yeah, Urien.
Yeah?
And I was so afraid to play him. I didn't play him.
Oh.
Because I was afraid, because I heard the rumors that he doesn't like Gaijin, and so I was like, I don't want to play him. But when he plays, he looks so mean.
You mean his face?
Yeah. He really looks really mean. He's like, I think he's gonna kill you or something.
Yeah, actually, his face is always very serious.
Yeah,
somehow.
Right? Very serious face.
Very serious, yeah.
I saw, because what happened was, I saw someone using, the Pierre Urien color with SA1, and at first I thought it was Pierre.
Oh yeah.
So I ran around because I really wanted to talk to Pierre. I wanted to see Pierre, and then I was like, wait, that's not Pierre.
There was one really mean-looking guy.
Yeah, and I don't know who I asked. I asked another American player.
Oh yeah.
It might have been, I don't know who it was, and I was like, oh, who's that? And he's like, oh, that's Ru. And I'm like, were you player Ru? He's like, yeah. And then,
interesting.
But I don't know if you knew that or you heard anything about that. If Ru likes.
Yeah, but this kind of rumor is always it tends to attach with any player, any Japanese player. Don't you think so? Sometimes Rikimaru really hates Gaijin, or, right? Or whoever.
Yeah, that's
always, and who likes Gaijin?
But the fact that he was using Urien SA1,
yeah,
it almost seemed like he was like he wasn't taking anyone seriously,
yeah.
But I don't know,
yeah.
Shoutouts to Ru though. I don't know. He's probably not watching this, right? Why would he be watching this? But
yeah.
I'd love to play you, Ru. But anyway, okay, go back to your story about.
Yep.
So you were in Yokohama. You played there.
Yeah. So I didn't. So to be honest, I didn't join any tournament. But maybe I was so. Oh, I remembered. Actually, I played MOV too, because like this game center in Yokohama was very popular, and I think it had a lot of good players.
And this was around what year? Like 2000?
It was, I think, 2004 or 5.
Okay.
Yeah. So maybe after 6 years, I mean, 6 years after the release of this game, I maybe started playing just a little bit serious when I was in college.
Serious as in, like, you really started to, like, learn the game.
Yes,
like,
I
research.
Right. So I didn't join any tournament, but I studied kind of seriously, but not as serious as maybe right now or later. Yeah.
So you're a bit of a late bloomer.
Yeah, I think so.
Right?
Yeah.
You kind of started late.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. And is that, were there a lot of players, like, because you were saying, right, like when Third Strike first came out, it wasn't that popular, but it's almost like when you have like a small group of people, like, because something kind of similar also happened in America. Like Third Strike nationally wasn't very popular.
Nationally. Yeah.
But there were little pockets, right? Like when the game first came out, like in California, right? In Texas, in Nebraska, not so much New York, but a little bit in New York. And then like when people see like there's like a few people, like your term, right? Geeks. Is it okay if I tell the story?
Yeah.
So when Daisuke first came to my house today, like I was testing. I was earlier today. I was testing Dreamcast for DTN because we're running CVS2 and Marvel on Dreamcast. And so Daisuke comes to the house, and I'm like, "Hey, have you played CVS2 before?" And Daisuke's like, "Yeah." So like we were just playing the computer. And then I asked Daisuke, like, does anyone play CVS2 in Japan anymore? And he was like, and what did you say?
Maybe I said, yeah, only some geeks.
Only some geeks. He said only some geeks play CVS2. But that's the reason I tell the story is because that's what it was like, right? In the beginning.
Yeah.
Like only a small handful of people played Third Strike.
Right, yeah.
And I think like people saw it, right? Like, wow, these small group of people, they really, really love the game. Maybe I should pick up the game. So it's kind of funny how Third Strike became popular. It's really because of small people, like small number of people.
Right.
And then they see other people witness like the passion and the love for the game.
Right.
And it makes it something that they want to, participate too.
And yeah, also, so like that those years were such a unique timing because like as you said, there were I think small groups in Japan as well. And then what happened was actually the internet was coming out maybe in late 1990 or something, and then because of that, everybody was starting like some broadcasting, not broadcasting, but at first they did maybe some like Gamers Vision. They just released some videos, match videos every week, and then so I think fighting game players had like some match videos for the first time, in history, and then I think it gave the scene a big momentum. It was a really unique moment. So
that's an interesting point because Third Strike definitely did come out right when the internet started to become more widely available. And so now before Third Strike came out, did the Japanese do that a lot? Did they record the footage very much? No,
I don't think so.
So when the internet came out, or the internet came out, when the internet became more widely available, that's when they started recording matches.
And then each small group could like kind of connect with other group. So actually, I heard a story from the local players, like in Kyushu. Like there are some good players like Ushi or like RB Urian player, or so there are and Deshiken. So they didn't have any tips until the footages, was coming out. So, but after that, even the scene in a local area could really change, and then they could improve more and more. So I think the internet or footages or like broadcasting, streaming contributed to Third Strike scene a lot. in Japan.
Yeah, because I remember when I first started getting serious with the game, it was very difficult to obtain footage of Dirt Strike in Japan. Like you were talking about those Gamer Vision tournaments, where they had the little camera on the corners,
Yeah.
right, and the graphics that was very hard to come by. We had to do torrents and stuff like that, and it was just really difficult.
Yeah, I think so. But as you said, maybe they had passion, and then maybe it led them to doing this, big work, and then eventually everybody was really happy to watch those videos, every week. Even I heard like the story from the guy, Fran. Yeah. So he
The one from Italy.
or
the
the
one
other
from Europe.
New Jersey.
Oh, fantastic! Okay.
Yes, yeah. He said he was downloading like Gamers Vision's video every week using like the PC in his school, and then he dominated one PC because it took like 30 hours or something to download one video.
Yeah.
So he basically dominated one like PC for him, and then he just ran the PC, overnight, and then
to wait for the download to
exactly.
finish. Yeah.
So
I
funny.
remember those days. Those were rough. Those were rough.
Those rough, but those were so fun. Maybe that's why we were so enthusiastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I really hate to be that guy, right, who's like, oh, back in my day, I walked 10 miles to school, but think about the advantage that players have now, right? Like thanks to guys like the Shen, shout outs to the Shen, like just YouTube,
Yeah.
like it's so easy for people to watch the footage now.
Right.
So, but at the same time, right, it's interesting because it's like with newer players, like they don't have to wait. They have all the videos.
Right.
So it's
tons of videos.
So it's almost like that's an advantage, but I can see it as a disadvantage because they don't know, like they're watching so many things, but they don't know, like, you know what I mean? Like with us, it was we had to wait. And we had to really study the video, right?
Like always, when we talk together, the keyword is always, patient.
Patience, right?
you like
Patience.
this word, right? So yeah, patience. So maybe new players might not have good patience. I don't know, but might be.
Because back in the day, right? You were saying it took hours to download a video.
Yeah.
And so once that video downloaded, how many times did you watch that video?
Exactly.
Right? You watched it a shitload of times.
Yeah.
But newer players, they watch it, but because they know they have another video they can watch, just, naturally, right?
Actually, the point is not the number, but the depth, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So
how you watch the video.
Right. And then it's, I think, almost all about Third Strike, right? It's depth, not like, maybe quantity or something. Yeah.
So let's talk about that then.
Yeah.
When you watch videos of Dirt Strike,
right.
Well, first of all, are there certain videos that you watch over others? Like I mean, let's be real, right? Like you don't really watch American Dirt Strike, do you?
I didn't know that. Yeah. I didn't know, and you mean right now or before?
Before.
Yeah, before I didn't know the scene in America.
Yeah, you didn't know how popular Dirt Strike was in America.
No, not at all.
Would you say that's how most of the Japanese, they didn't really know how?
They didn't know. I think. Of course, sometimes we could read some articles, like some Daigo went
like for
to
example,
Evo.
like the Daigo parry, right?
Yeah, parry.
When did you hear about the Daigo parry? Like when people?
I think I saw on YouTube.
Yeah,
so
on YouTube.
Maybe yeah.
Okay.
2005 or maybe around that. I forgot, but yeah.
So it's like, so I forgot what I was saying already.
Yeah, well, me too. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So are there certain videos that you watch, like, are there certain like, or do you just kind of just watch whatever? Like, are there certain players that you look for, like because you can't watch all video, right?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you can, but you can't watch all the videos. So are there videos that you are, that are more important to you to watch? Like, for example, you're a Ryu player, right?
Yep.
Do you watch more Ryu videos, or what's your approach to choosing the video that you watch?
Oh, okay. So now maybe I should talk about what I'm doing right now, because like, back then, I was watching a lot, but still I was just maybe just a fan, not super serious.
So you were just kind of watching it to watch it, but you didn't really have any agenda or any plan.
No plan. Just I watched every week new gamers visions, video, and then it was such a fun because actually ranking battle was a really good system. Everybody was kind of getting excited. Even I'm thinking, we should maybe install this system to
ranking battle or
battle.
Danison.
I mean, ranking battle.
Ranking battle.
Yeah, because it can be more repetitive. Everybody wants to come more and more, and then once we wanna make scene here, maybe I think it was a good idea. But anyway, so therefore the footages were so fun. But still, I was just kind of just a audience, just
like you see things like, oh, that's sick, or like, oh, that was cool.
Yeah.
And then that was it.
Yeah. Right. And so recently, quite recently, how I approach to the game is maybe I think so. Basically, like how to deal with specific character is very, very important in this game. Sometimes you might wanna deal with twins, and sometimes you wanna study Chun-Li's. So basically, my approach is maybe like this character oriented approach. So when I wanna beat your Necro, maybe I will watch a lot of Necro videos. So.
That's very flattering.
Yeah, but for real. Yeah. Yeah. And
I have my own opinion about
yeah
Necro players in Japan.
Oh yeah,
there's something very. But we'll talk about that.
Oh
later.
yeah, I want to hear that.
But,
so,
but yeah, so you really look for like matchups, knowledge.
Yeah, matchups. Yeah, basically, and yeah, because my character is not super popular, so I can't see not so many videos of like real players. So I stopped kind of searching real videos. Yeah.
Okay. And so as a Ryu player, right?
Yeah.
Like let's say now do you factor into account the players? Like are there certain players that you make sure you want to watch for sure, or is that something you pay attention to? Like for example, like oh, I have to watch Namjin matches, or I have to watch Kuni matches, or I have to watch
among Ryu players.
Yeah. Or any character.
Yeah. Maybe among real players, not really. As I said, there are not so many footages, so I can't, technically. But among all players, maybe I would say, yeah, I like Daisuke, and but my approach is the top player in each character, right? So, for instance, like let's say Ken, when I wanna see Ken's matches, I only watch Daisuke's matches.
Okay.
I don't need to watch other Kens. Yeah, of course, maybe it was watching Boss's Ken or maybe KO's Ken, but still, I mostly focus on Daisuke. And then like Chun-Li is a little bit difficult to say because there are many good Chun-Li's, but still maybe Nuki, Rikimaru, MOV, and that's it. This is my approach. I don't want to watch other kind of, second tier Chun-Li's videos. They are so good players, but I don't want to watch.
Guile212, he asked, what about Matsuke?
Oh, yeah, of course, he's super good. Yeah. So Matsuke is, I think, I think I watched a lot.
Yeah. So, but as a Ryu player, right? Because what I'm interested in is because you said that there's not much Ryu footage, so you can't just watch Ryu.
Right.
So so let's say for example, right? Just example. And I wish I had it set up so we could just watch a video together, but it's not going to happen in this episode. But let's just say for example, you watch say, Daisuke versus RX.
Yep.
Right.
Right.
So it's Ken versus Urien, but you're a Ryu player, right?
Yeah.
So when you watch that video, what are you paying attention to? What are you looking at? Because you don't use Ken, even though Ken and Ryu are similar, right?
Right.
But you don't use Urien.
No.
So when you watch that match, like what are you looking at? Like what are you paying attention to as a Ryu player? or just as you
Okay, yeah. In general, I think there is one really interesting viewpoint. So whenever you watch the match videos, I think there are basically two ways to watch videos.
Okay.
One is because there are basically two characters fighting in one match.
Mhm.
So one day I found out when I kind of feel, how do you say it, like I tried to sync my feeling with one character, one side, and then but this time I can't feel exactly the same as like the other player was doing.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Maybe my English is so bad to
No, I
but
get it,
yeah.
I understand.
So in this case, like I can kind of sync my feeling with Ken or Urian.
Mhm.
Maybe only one of those, and then I can't sync with both characters at the same time. So I think this is very important. Even so, when I watch, for instance, like Boss versus Deshken, by the way, which is a very good matches. Did you see that?
Yeah, the when they did the sets, right?
FT,
the Ken v. Ken.
FT20 or yeah, it was so good. But so even in the like mirror matches, I have to focus on like one side, not both sides, right? And then I can feel. So mostly what I'm doing is I'm trying to feel what he is thinking, what he's trying to deal with.
So you're trying to put yourself. There's a saying. You're trying to put yourself in the shoes of the other player.
Exactly.
And you're trying to figure out. Okay, what did they do? What would you do? Oh, okay.
Right.
So you're trying to you're pretending or you're imagining that you're that one player.
Exactly. Yeah. Otherwise, I don't think I can get like some meanings from footages. Because I think there are like two aspects in this game. One is of course like mechanics. You have to technical things. So you have to understand like your mix-ups, your options. The
math. I like to call it math. Right.
Me too.
It's basically the math.
And then
there's nothing you could do to get around the math of the game.
Right. But I like this term. Like it's a math. And then sadly, not so many players are using math like in the right way.
Like American players, right? We don't, when we learn Third Strike, like this is true for me, when I first learned Third Strike, the focus was not on the math. It was on tactics. Right? It was on playing the other opponent and not so much learning the mechanics of the game. And there's a lot of reasons for why American players grow up that way. I think a lot of it has to do with just the way, just how many arcades there are here compared to Japan.
I know.
And there's a lot of reasons why like that's the case.
Yeah, I feel it.
But I definitely think the biggest difference, and I noticed that right away, when I first went to Japan, when I last went to Japan, like the newer players, their execution is very good. Right. Maybe not so much their tactics, but their execution is very good. In America, it's the opposite. The newer players, their execution is bad. Well, sometimes they're both bad, but you know what I mean. But so when you watch a video, you try to embody the character.
Yeah, embody the character and the player as well. So yeah, I think so. Math is really important. Maybe not only American players, but the Japanese players in a mid-tier or second tier, whatever, maybe those players, why they lose the matches is they have basically already lost before the matches. You know what I mean? So because their like strategy or math is
they're trying to do something that doesn't work, right?
Exactly.
Or is not.
Yeah. Because I think if there are two people and then if their like capability is almost same, in this case, who can win? I think the person having like stronger strategy or right math would win. Because basically Third Strike is all about math or value of expectations,
probability,
because
risk reward.
Because you are not God. You can't read everything, right? Sometimes you are gonna make mistakes and then you're gonna fail reading eventually. So always math will help you. So So this is my first approach, how to like interpret footages. So in order to get the right math, and then footages actually really help me like think more.
So, something that obviously you played Nika KO.
Yep.
A few Ranbats ago, obviously.
Only two matches though.
And
Yep.
and one thing that Nika told me, a long time ago is because when he watches match videos, he'll have a stick with him.
Oh, it's interesting.
He'll
Wow.
have the stick while he's watching the match videos, and he'll be trying to replicate or duplicate what one of the players in the video is doing. It's almost like an extreme way of like we were talking about, right?
Yeah, right. Extreme
Trying to
way.
imagine you as the player.
Yeah, but basically maybe what he's doing is same as what we are talking right now, right? Yeah, it's a kind actually extreme way, but I think it makes really
sense,
makes sense. Yeah.
And so you embody one of the characters, right?
Right.
And so now how does that how can you explain how that translates when you start thinking about your own approach as the Ryu player? Like for example, okay, so after you watch this Daisuke versus RX match, and then say you enter a tournament and you have to play Daisuke.
Yeah.
What exactly can you take from what you were watching in the video that's going to help you form your your approach to Daisuke?
So why I'm watching is not because I wanna beat certain specific players. So what I'm taking away from his footages is actually basically ideas. So that's why maybe I watched a lot of maybe Ken's matches because as you said, Ken and Ryu are basically different characters, but still like some basics are similar, and then it can maybe help me think about my strategy more. So, and especially maybe I'm watching maybe ground game and also like close combat. So yeah, and just kind of use his ideas and his tactics. And like that.
So it's not so much like you're watching the video and you're like, oh, Daisuke likes to do this. Daisuke likes because in sports, right? Usually you watch footage there's a term in English, it's called scouting, right?
Yeah.
Usually in competitive sports, you watch a video, and the reason you're watching a video is because you're trying to determine the opponent's strengths and weaknesses and habits and tendencies. But that's not really what you're concentrating on when you watch a video.
Yeah, exactly. Because I was not a competitive player, and then I didn't join tournaments. But if I were like professional player, I would do that because I think.
But because you're starting out, because you're just new in the competitive scene.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's why. So if I try to in the future, if I try to be a like professional player or something, maybe I will do that because I think actually people need to do that to analyze the other players. But I think it's a kind of different story. It's not a basic. I'm more focusing on basics, fundamentals of this game because it's too deep. It's still I feel some depth where I haven't touched. So
it's almost like the game is your first opponent.
Exactly.
Like the game, you have to beat the game. Like you have to defeat the game in the sense that you have to master your understanding of the game first, before you can beat an opponent. You know what I mean?
It's a I think cool idea. And then actually my opponents are not people. I don't care about who plays.
Oh wow, okay.
I don't care about it. Because basically if you are doing right thing, you will win, right? So the first opponent must be a game itself, and then second opponent is I think myself. If I do the right decision making, what I was already thinking before the matches, which we call math, if I follow the right math I have already created before matches, I will win, right? So it's, I think, for me all about Third Strike, and then that's why I'm playing this super deep game.
Because because one of the things about a lot of American players in the American scene that I notice, and everyone gets what's the word, right? You know the word, right? You've been here long enough. Everyone gets salty,
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah, right.
At the end of the day, it's a game, and you want to win. And when we don't win, we get disappointed, we get upset.
Yeah, you should get.
And so it's almost like you're saying that you're like people are like when say like a newer player, when they lose, they shouldn't get upset at the opponent. They should get upset on, like, it's almost like they should get upset at themselves,
Yes.
right? Because there's something that they did that's preventing them from winning. Because they haven't quite mastered the depth of the game, like you were saying.
Right. Yeah.
And so, because a lot of players that I've noticed, I'm not going to name any names, obviously, but losing, right, is very hard on them. A lot of players don't like to lose, even the newer beginner players, because they get very discouraged. They get discouraged, they get disappointed. Especially in a game like Third Strike. You've seen it, right? At next level, there's such a wide spectrum of skill level.
Yeah, it's wide.
It's very, very wide.
Very wide. Yeah.
And the problem with that is all of them are playing together. And so let's say you have a beginning player, and the only person that they have to play is like Frankie. You know what I'm saying?
It's horrible.
It's horrible.
It's
right?
horrible.
Like, obviously it's horrible. And
but it might not be the worst case, because Frankie is a really supportive player, because he's already over some level. He is one of the top players, right? So this top player can help the beginning player. The terrible situation is this medium player, this player, like kind of intermediate player, and then who wants to have his own win a lot, and then maybe he is not maybe supportive to him. So.
And I think because, again, a lot of the players, they put a lot of, it is going to sound weird, but like they care too much about winning.
In other words, result.
Yes, they care too much about result. And so what would be your advice to those players, right? Because there's a lot of players, and it's natural, right? First of all, it's human, right? There's people are different. Some people handle losses better than others. You know what I mean? Like for example, for me, right? Like, I get perfected all the time. I lose a lot, but I don't, I mean, I'm human, right? I get salty, but like even in Japan, right? There are some players that get more upset when they lose than other players, right? And so, what would you say to like the newer players, like who might feel discouraged because they just keep losing and losing and losing and.
Yeah, you said two newer players.
Yeah.
Okay, to newer players, my advice would be a little bit different. But I mean, actually, I think this game is really tough, right? So maybe you really need some really supportive, good players around you. Otherwise, you're gonna get discouraged to play this game. You wanna maybe quit. Can this be advice?
No, I think so, because I think what you're saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, but number one, recognize that Third Strike is not easy, right? Like, you have to recognize that, like you were saying, right? This game is deep,
too deep,
and it's almost like you have to respect the game, right? Like, in the sense that, and I don't mean respect like it or love it, but respect that, hey, like, it's a hard game. And it's gonna take you a while, and not only take you a while, but like you say, it requires a very specific environment to learn the game. Exactly. Like you were saying, supportive, right?
Yeah, supportive. Yeah.
And I think you hit the nail right on the head when it comes to the way Third Strike developed here in the United States as opposed to Third Strike in Japan, because here, arcade culture, FGC, it's all about competition.
Yeah, competition.
It's all about the result.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, it's like you're in that mindset, right? Where you're, where it's like, of course losing and winning matter, because that's how the community kind of shapes it.
Yeah.
And I think that's really good advice. Just kind of recognizing the game is hard.
Yep.
Patience, right?
Patience.
You gotta be patient, but
Yep.
you also gotta be willing to, invest the time
Right.
to really learn the game.
And to the right direction,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's why I said you should have good players around you, because since this game is such a deep game, I don't think you can figure out by yourself.
Mhm.
Even like people around me, they are not so bad, but they might be a little bit, they might have some difficulty to beat me.
Mhm.
In this case, they really don't know like what I'm doing,
Mhm.
why I'm winning.
Mhm.
I can say the opposite thing too. If I have some players around me who I cannot beat, in this case, there must be some specific reasons I'm losing. So that's for me. That's actually the most interesting part of this game. In this case, what I'm doing is okay. Just let's study, figure out. The reason is clear why I'm losing. As I said, my math is not enough. That's it. Yeah, of course there are some other aspects which I will maybe talk later, which is a mind game aspect. But basically, the first step is math. So okay, I wanna figure out. Actually, since coming here, I felt one very good thing, like one like good thing I'm feeling, because here, because the competition is very kind of like harsh, and everybody wants
emotional, right?
emotional,
very intense, right?
intense. So since coming here, I maybe became a more like competitive player, and then I actually kind of want to win. When I was in Japan, I always went to the same arcade. I lived in a town named Koenji, and then there is a kind of famous arcade, Koenji Cube, and then everybody.
They do streams now, right?
Yeah, my buddy is doing streaming. So he's also a young player.
What's the channel? Arashike or
Araki. Yeah. Araki is a Makoto player, and then he's getting better. Yeah. So what I'm saying is, so I used to play only in one arcade. I didn't go to any like famous arcades like Versus or Newton. Sometimes I went to join tournament, but basically I played only in Cube. But here, I don't know. It's really hard to explain, but I feel like I want to be more competitive, since coming here. And then maybe I think it's also kind of good aspect of being in America and being, a third strike player in America. So
yeah, it's interesting what you're saying, because it's almost like since you've come here, you've become like, I don't know, like I'm thinking maybe the word is pride, but I don't know if that's the right word. Like
pride, pride, yeah, it could be pride, pride,
which is good, but when you have a lot of it, then it becomes bad sometimes.
Yeah, because pride can kill you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, especially in third strike.
Exactly. So here I don't get mad at other people. I only can get mad at myself. So, Daisuke, you could win, but you lost. You're such an idiot. You gotta.
As opposed to like, oh, I lost because that scrub across from me did something random. Like, instead of getting that attitude, always look at yourself first.
Exactly. Yeah.
And see, what did I do wrong first?
Right. Because you can't change people, but you might be able to change yourself. Right. In general, you cannot.
That was like a fortune cookie. That's like a fortune cookie saying. You hear that, KG? You may not be able to change other people, but you just might be able to. Maybe. You might be able to change yourself.
Yeah.
I want everyone to quote that, chat. That was some godlike advice. Wow, that was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was amazing. So, Daisuke, we're gonna go ahead and take a break. We'll
Yep.
take our first break now.
Cool.
But when we come back, we're gonna talk a little bit more about Ryu.
Oh, it's cool. Yeah.
You know, and why you insist on torturing yourself with this character. No, I'm just kidding.
Because
No.
I'm a masochist.
Right. But
Yeah.
but yeah, we'll definitely talk more about your decision to pick Ryu. But in the meantime, guys, we're gonna go ahead and take a quick 2 to 3 minute break. But when we come back, we'll have more Mutant Experience podcast with Daisuke. Don't go anywhere, guys. All right, guys, Mutant XP back on the mic. We're here with more Mutant Experience podcasts. Obviously, I'm here with my special guest from Japan, living in New York currently. We got the Ryu expert, Daisuke. And just to give you a quick Mutant Challenge update, KG the Legend is now in Brazil.
Finally.
Getting his ass handed to him by Blanca.
Send help.
Blanca's rough, dude. When you don't have to charge, when you can walk up ball, it's cheap, dude. It's cheap. So
Yeah.
we're gonna let KG practice some more. Hopefully he gets out of Brazil and makes it home to America. Makes it home to America. So all right, Daisuke. So let's talk about Ryu.
Uh-huh.
So you had said earlier that you pretty much used Ryu.
Right.
Since the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So is that the case in previous Street Fighter games? You also use Ryu and
No, I had never used Ryu.
Really?
In other series.
Oh.
I had no interest in this boring character because he's such a plain
So what changed? What was it about Ryu in Third Strike like?
So actually there is a specific reason. So we were talking about the footages before, and one day, so in my college days, I watched the video, and in that video, a guy named MMM was playing Ryu.
I remember him.
Right?
I've seen video of him. That name.
Yeah.
MMM, right? It's just
MMM.
letters.
Yeah, I think maybe it was a Game as Visions footage. Probably, I'm not sure.
What was the other one? Bingo or Vegas Arcade, or I don't know.
Something like that.
Like that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, and one day I watched his matches, and then I was like, wow, it looks like cool. I might want to play this game, more, more like seriously, or yeah. But still, again, I was not a super competitive player, but maybe that was the reason I kind of started playing again after graduation from my high school.
And so let's talk a little bit more about Ryu in Third Strike.
Yep.
Right. So obviously Ryu is, I guess, somewhere in the middle in terms of strength of the characters. So what are let's do it this way, right?
Yep.
Tell me 3 things that you like about Ryu in Third Strike. 3 things that you like.
Okay. 1, 3 moves or 3 any.
Just anything. 3
Anything.
things about Ryu, the character, that you like.
Okay. First one, EX Donkey Kick.
EX Donkey Kick. That move is sick. That move is pretty sick.
Yeah. And the second thing.
Well, but why EX Donkey Kick? Can you explain what is it about that move?
Because I'm using a Shinku Ryu, like SA1, and SA1 Ryu is, in my opinion, all about Donkey Kick. Some people say SA1 Ryu is all about EX Fireball, but for me, EX Donkey Kick.
Because that's what hits that gives the damage, right?
Right.
That's what you punish with. That's how you get the.
Yeah. And then I think it's the only stronger point compared to Ken. Yeah, actually there are some other points, but basically it can get a big damage without difficult technique, and once you can parry, you can always take a big damage from EX Donkey Kick, and then also of course it looks cool, and it's very heavy, right?
Yeah. So, you feel like shit when you get hit by it.
Yeah.
Right? I'm like, fuck. I got hit by that. And then you gotta wait till the Ryu player finishes.
Yeah.
Right? He does the donkey kick. And then he does what takes more damage? Tatsu
and Shoryu, Roundhouse Tatsu and Fierce Shoryu has
Take
a big damage. Same damage.
Same
so
damage.
Same. But the stun damage is a little bit different. Shoryu has bigger one. So
but Tatsu is better for
to
positioning,
carry.
or
Exactly. So basically, what I'm doing is Tatsu. Tatsu is better. Yeah.
So that's number 1, EX Donkey King. So number 2.
So heaviness.
Heaviness.
He is such a heavy character in Third Strike.
Like, what do you mean by heavy?
Like all of his moves.
Like, he hits hard.
It's really hard,
Okay.
right? And then also
Like standing roundhouse, for example.
standing
right?
roundhouse so hard, and also standing fierce,
Uh-huh.
and also it's a big damage,
Mhm.
right? So, like, actually, like what Ryu can do is kind of limited compared to maybe Ken. Ken is more flexible character, right? But still, Ryu's moves are limited, but
He hits hard.
yeah, he gets hard.
Mhm.
That's why maybe I like him.
And then number 3, what's the third thing? Is there a third thing?
Third thing will be I don't know, but somehow I really like Third Strike's Ryu. As I said, I hadn't played Ryu in any other series, but only in this game I really wanna play Ryu. And then sometimes I was thinking, wow, this character really sucks. What is this plus 2 frames when I did like crouch
Yeah.
blocking? What is this?
Yeah.
I was so mad, and I tried to switch characters, but
Do you think they did that on purpose? Or do you think that was just,
it's a good question. But I don't think it's intentional.
you don't think it's intentional?
No, I don't think. How about you? What do you think?
I mean, it's just weird because those specific characters, Q too, right? Q has extra frame too.
Yeah.
Just why only those 2 characters?
No.
Is there
only-
one more? One more.
Also Chun-Li.
And Chun-Li, right?
Chun-Li.
Why only those 3 characters?
Yeah, it's true.
So I'm
because
thinking if it's just those 3 characters, might be intentional. I don't know.
so if we can see some connection between those 3 characters, maybe we would say it's intentional. Like, but Chun-Li, Ryu, and Q, I can't see any like
Connection,
connection
right? Yeah.
between them. But I think Q's one is a really intentional maybe setting, don't you think? Because even the plus frames are different when you do like standing blocking and then crouch blocking. Standing one was I think plus 2 frame.
Yeah,
I
Guile
forgot, yeah.
212 says it's +1.
Yeah,
Q gets +1 even if he's stand blocking.
I see. And then maybe when he's did like crouch blocking, I think it must be +2 or something. I don't know. I
Yeah.
forgot. Yeah.
Well, we'll check. We'll check later. We'll
Yeah.
have KG fact check at the end of the podcast.
Right.
So now you probably have more than 3 things. But what are the 3 things that you hate the most about Ryu? The thing that you don't like the most about Ryu?
Okay, yeah, I have a lot of
A lot of
things
them,
I
but-
hate, but the most maybe I hate was Shoryu. His Shoryu is so weak.
Which is funny because you like using Shoryu.
Exactly. Maybe I think I'm the player using Shoryu the most among you
Your
players.
name is Sheng Long, dude. You're Sheng
Yeah,
Long.
yeah.
Sheng Long. Sheng Long Daisuke.
Right. Yeah. Especially I like fierce Shoryu, but I'm always thinking, what if this only fierce Shoryu was like 1 frame faster, right? And then I think it would work. Like Ken's light Shoryu is really strong because it's 2 frames, right? And it depends on the definition of frames,
Yeah.
but still.
Like when you count.
Yeah. But Ryu's one is basically 3 frames. Startup is always 3 frames, which is so weak. This 1 frame is really critical. So I was thinking, no, I'm always thinking, please, change it to.
And can you for the viewers, can you explain, like, particularly in that case, right, why that extra frame is so important?
Okay,
for you?
I have a lot of situations, but
Yeah.
maybe the one typical situation is like after you get blocked by like opponent's crouch medium kick. Let's say we are doing like Ken versus Ryu match, and Ken did crouch medium kick, and then I blocked it, right? And then in this case, Ken is supposed to have disadvantage.
Yeah, he's supposed to be negative.
Exactly, but he doesn't. right? Because of this +2 frames. So after crouch medium kick, maybe what both players want to do is, I think, maybe crouch medium kick again. It can happen sometimes. I recently played Frankie a lot, and then this situation, frequently happened, of course. And but after like blocking his crouch medium kick, his next crouch medium kick can come out faster than mine. And of course, I have already known this fact, so I don't do any crouch medium kick after his crouch medium or Ken's crouch medium kick, but it's such a disadvantage. And also, Ryu versus Chun-Li, she does crouch medium kick because her crouch medium kick is very strong, and then I blocked, but I have I'm having disadvantage, so basically I can't move, and then I have to be stuck in the corner eventually. So it's such a terrible mechanism, I think. Yeah.
Okay. So number 2, what's the second thing that you
hate?
Yeah.
Oh, second thing. Yeah, this one actually can be the first thing. Yeah, but this one is all about execution of donkey kick. Did you know that donkey kick's execution is really difficult? I mean, even compared to other half circle commandos. Because, like, for instance, Makoto's Karaksa or Twins Zenpo Tenshin, you don't really need to do exactly half circle, right? But Ryu basically has to do, it's a weird word, but a full half circle.
Full half circle, no shortcut.
No shortcut. You always have to start from the exactly back, right? You can't start from like back
back down, diagonal,
yeah. So it's so hard. That's why if you see a lot of like good Ryu players footages, every time they miss donkey kick after like fierce or crouch fierce or standing medium kick, whatever, it's so stressful for me. So yeah, I hate it. I really hate it. I really can't get the meaning. Why did you make this game like this?
Sometimes when I watch some certain Ryu matches, like when they're in a situation where there's like they're like in the pocket. I like to call it the pocket, right?
Pocket.
When you're like within each other's normal range. I see a lot of Ryu players. They get hit low. And so I'm thinking, because you were talking about the extra frames, right? Because you're when you're blocking low, right? You're holding back down,
right?
So in order to you would have to if you want to execute donkey kick, you have to go back, right?
Right.
And then you have to go back forward, and that's such a inconvenience.
Dude, it's fucking hard. yeah. To be honest, it's so hard. So even so one of his merit is actually, I think, down parry. His down parry is really strong because he has cover throw, right? Like down parry is basically a kind of counter option of maybe cover throw or something. But anyway, so his down parry is strong, but still after doing down parry, you have to go back to the exactly back direction. It's so hard. I miss a lot. I hate it.
And the only other thing you could do is EX Fireball, right?
Doesn't make sense.
It's the only other thing you can do.
It doesn't make zero sense after parry. So
No, I mean, say when if you parry for example Ken low forward,
I know.
you do crouching fierce.
Yeah, right.
Like there's only 2 things you can do.
I know what you mean. Yeah, I know what you mean. So if you throw away the option of donkey kick, you have to do fireball, but which doesn't make zero sense. So I think that's why Ken is strong too. So his mechanics, his fundamentals are actually really strong, maybe compared to every other characters. But the thing is, his execution is really, really simple, right? If you do parry, down parry, stand, front parry, whatever, you can easily do crouch medium kick into Shoryu.
Yeah.
It's such a
because there's no back anything.
No back. And
everything is after everything is past the neutral, right? Past the neutral point.
Right. And then you have already learned how to do approach medium kick into Shoryu when you are in elementary school, right?
yeah.
Literally,
So, I
literally.
guess in Japan, Daisuke, that's required learning.
Right?
Yeah.
Especially among our generation,
Yeah,
you must have learned it,
Yeah.
when you are,
Yeah.
So it's obviously super easy, but you can never learn how to down parry into crouch medium kick into EX donkey in elementary school,
Yeah.
right? So
No, you're right. Because if you map like your inputs in that situation, it's just so crazy.
so crazy.
You got to down and then it's just,
It's a long journey.
yeah, it's a long journey.
Right? Like what Kyle is doing right
What
now.
what yeah, what Casey's doing.
You are correct.
Wow, he's still stuck in Brazil.
He's stuck in Brazil. It's not a bad place to be stuck at, though.
I lost my passport.
The weather is nice in Brazil, I heard.
Right.
The views are nice in Brazil.
Right, yeah. Besides, he's getting bit by some, strange animal.
Yeah, some strange animal, Blanca, right? Like, I know this is a Third Strike podcast, guys, but we were just so
I'm sorry.
fixated
Yeah.
on how strange Blanca looks, dude. Like, he is the weirdest looking fighting game character of all time, dude. Like, he's just so weird. Like, what the hell is that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, so that was 2, I think. I think that was 2.
Hate. Yeah. What I think.
Is there anything else?
I said like Shoryu's frame, and also like the execution of donkey kick, and then maybe one more thing would be. I have something. Yeah. Like forward fears.
Oh, the Toward Fierce?
Towards fears, yeah.
Like you accidentally do it sometimes? Like,
I don't do that, so I don't complain so much about this one. But if I say 3 things, maybe third thing is maybe towards fears, because it's too weak. Don't you think so?
it's very slow.
Too slow.
Yeah.
You have like no opportunities to use that move in real matches. You can't use it. But I think that move is supposed to be a good move, because in like 2 turbo, it's so strong, right?
Yeah.
It was too much.
In ST, yeah.
ST, yeah. It was a little bit too much.
Yeah.
It's almost like a front dash.
Yeah.
Because it's too fast. But I think that move has to be a little bit more strong.
A little faster.
Yeah.
The reason I don't like Toward Fierce, I mean, a lot of it also has to do with the fact that my execution is shitty. But, like, I always get it by accident.
Right.
When I'm trying to do, like, maybe walk up fireball or walk up, something, motion, it sometimes I'll get this. And I'm pretty, I don't know the exact number, but I'm pretty sure it's negative on block, right?
Yeah, on block actually it has plus 1 frame.
Oh, plus 1 frame.
But this plus 1 frame.
But it doesn't do anything.
Doesn't do
matter.
anything.
Yeah,
Doesn't
yeah,
matter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe third thing would be towards Fierce, or maybe startup of Shinku. It's too slow, right?
Have you found any use for Toward Fierce in Ryu?
I'm using to move, to go forward,
To go forward a little bit.
to adjust the distance.
The distance, the spacing, yeah.
And it's cool. I like it, but
Yeah. But never to hit or
never. It's so dangerous because you might get red parried.
Yeah.
It's dangerous. You shouldn't use it.
How about like meaty, like so you make only the last hit like under knockdown.
Yeah, I was thinking about this thing actually, but again, it's too slow to do meaty.
Yeah.
Because you don't have like not many chances to get it being meaty. Yeah. And
especially if they have meter, if they have super,
Yeah. Yeah, and then even after hitting, you can't connect anything. Yeah, technically you can do that into
EX
Shoryu, but I don't want to lose.
Yeah, why would you waste that meter?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I hit my move, and then why do I need to use my meter after that? It's so weird.
Yeah.
Like imagine like Ken's target combo, right? he can do midi easily, and then he can confirm, and then he can have such big damage like into double shoryu.
Yeah.
And then, I'm doing like 2 hours spheres into EX
shorty, and then the
shoryu.
reduction, the damage reduction.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. So are there? Let's talk a little bit about matchups, right? What's your favorite matchup to play? Like, what do you like playing? Ryu versus who? Is there like a matchup where you're like I'm not saying the hardest or the easiest.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying like, what's the matchup you personally you enjoy personally playing?
Yeah, to be honest, I like every matchup.
Mm-hmm.
So I like
Good answer.
Yeah, I like versus Ken, versus Twins, versus Chun-Li, of course versus Dudley, Urian, Necro. Is there any other characters in Shadow Strike?
Q,
Oh, I forgot.
12,
Elena,
Hugo.
Yeah, I think every matchup is fun.
And what are some matchups that you're just like, when you see the opponent pick the character, you're just like, oh gosh, like you just don't want to play it, like you just, or like the least enjoyable for you.
12.
12.
He should go back to maybe Vampire or other games. Yeah. He's pointless, I think. Sorry for 12 players. I think he's such a cool character, but his mechanics are a little bit weird.
Yeah,
He's I'm sorry for him, but
he's just so annoying. Like
right.
it takes so long. Like a good 12 player, right? It just takes forever. Like if you're playing like the top, like player like Moto, right? Like a top 12 player.
Or Yama, yeah.
Yama, right? Like they can still be beat, but it takes a long time.
Right.
It's so annoying,
Yeah. And then it's not so like fun mind games.
No, it's not.
No.
It's not. It's just literally just waiting for them to,
Yeah.
make a mistake or,
Yeah.
it sucks. It's really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Gael 212 says, it's like slow torture. Kind of like what KG's doing here in the. Blanca just walked up to KG full screen and did the bite, dude.
And then got maybe half
half-life.
stamina.
So let's talk a little bit about like tactics and like mind games.
Okay. Yeah.
Like what you know the English phrase mind games, right?
Right.
Like is that like what is that like when you hear the word mind games in a Street Fighter, in the context of Street Fighter, what exactly are you? What exactly do you mean by mind game? Because I feel like some people have different definitions of mind game. But when you hear mind game, what do you think? What is your
mind game? Like what kind of definitions do you have? Like when you say
some players, they'll define mind games as like Oki, right?
Oh, okay.
Like,
right.
And stuff like that. Like, but how do you define it? Is it like the same way, or are you thinking about something different?
Mind game. Yeah. So as I said, Third Strike, in my opinion, consists of like 2 aspects. The one is like technical side, and then the other is all about mind game. So whenever you are holding stick and hitting the button and then playing this game, you are already involved in the mind game. I think it starts like right after the round call, right? Like so round 1 fight, and then you are already in.
It doesn't start in the character select screen.
Yeah, I think
maybe
it's,
someone pick
true,
a different
true.
track.
Yeah, it's true.
Because another Third Strike player, his name's KD Alpha. Shout outs to KD Alpha in Texas. He always teases me because he says, "Mutant, you always pick second, dog. You always pick second.
Yeah.
Like I never pick first. I never pick my character first.
Right.
I always pick my character second. And it's like I don't like it's funny because like no one's ever pointed that out to me. You know what I mean? It's like, and I'm not like doing it on purpose. It's just I always pick second. Like it's not even like, oh, I want to wait to see who he picks, and then that will determine my decision. Like it's not even like that.
Do you change? No.
No, sometimes
No.
I don't. I just always pick second.
Oh,
For some reason, I can never pick first. On
even
the
though
character
you have
selection.
already decided what character you're gonna use.
Even
Yeah.
then, I will always pick second.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know why.
Maybe
I
you wanna
just-
take advantage, or you wanna be, you wanna show you a bossy.
Maybe I was
Yeah.
conditioned that way. I don't know, but I always pick second. But maybe the mind game starting the character second. Okay, so round one fight.
Round
right?
one fight. Yeah.
Then what's up? What's going on?
So in our ground games, in like far distance,
Mhm.
you will see, what kind of reaction your opponent
Uh-huh.
is having,
Mhm.
and then of course you are gonna observe, him, sometimes her, and
Mhm.
yeah, and then you
By
can.
the way, I definitely think we need more females playing Third Strike. That's just my opinion.
Oh, it's
Women,
true.
women,
It's
I
true.
think
Yeah,
so.
you think so?
Yeah, I think so.
Hmm.
I think they could bring a different aspect to the game.
There are some good players in Japan.
Oh yeah.
Actually, yeah, like especially I think like one Chun-Li player
Oh wow.
is very strong.
hmm
Yeah.
Now let's talk a little. Well, just a side tangent because I'm just curious.
Yep.
But like, what is usually the attitude of like the general attitude towards females who play Third Strike? Let alone just general fighting games in general in Japan.
Yeah, it's an interesting question. Yeah, actually, like first time I was a little bit hesitating to beat her, or
Uh-huh.
don't you think so? Because it's just a virtual thing, but still, you wanna fight like females.
Uh-huh.
So I wasn't so into that, and still I'm feeling a little bit weird when I play like Toba, or we have the other Remy player, in Cube
Uh-huh.
we had, and then she was 19.
Uh-huh.
Maybe now she's 20.
Uh-huh.
You wanna beat 20 years old lady? So I feel a little bit weird. But maybe I'm already maybe I got used to
Mhm.
playing them. So
Because here in America, something that's happening not so much in Third Strike, but just in general, esports, FGC, is there's been a much more concerted effort to try to include more
Oh.
more women and just more
interesting.
different genders. Be more inclusive in that regard, and it's just such a sticky subject. Very controversial.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, actually,
And I was just curious how how the Japanese approach. Like clearly, you guys don't mind, right? Because even when I went to Game Newton, right, there was a female Elena player,
Oh yeah, maybe
and
famous player.
and
Yeah.
and I mean, obviously, I can't read minds, but she didn't seem like she was being treated differently, in Game Newton. I feel like she was just like one of all the other players. So I was just curious how the Third Strike scene or in Japan, or how like like Matsuda-san in Game Newton, like when females go play Third Strike. I mean, it doesn't seem to me, at least from the surface, that they're they seem just as welcoming to them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Of course, I think so. Yeah, and basically, like Matsuda-san or like the scene is really welcoming to new players. Basically,
Regardless of gender.
regardless of gender.
Yeah.
Maybe in Japan, like this gender like topic is not super controversial, like as opposed to maybe America. So yeah, I think everybody is really welcoming to even female players.
Yeah. Because yeah, it was really interesting because like I noticed her, and then like for like just for like a split second, and then after that, it was just like whatever, and she was good.
Yeah, she was good. Maybe she's choking.
Maybe.
Yeah, choking. Yeah,
Maybe.
I think so.
I don't remember her name.
Yeah, she's very good.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. What were we talking about?
We were talking about like matchup.
Oh, mind games.
Mind game.
Okay,
Yeah, mind game.
okay.
Yeah.
So you said the word observe, right?
Observe.
Like how what's your approach to doing that? Like, because Third Strike is not like the fastest game, but it's not the slowest game. So like when the round starts, like how do you sort of observe the opponent? Like how do you like is there like certain things that you do? Like are there certain things that you look for right away to kind of gauge, like do you try to gauge the opponent's like skill level in terms of like, you know what I mean? Like cuz you were telling me, right? Like a long time ago that like when you play a strong player, like and it doesn't sound really scientific, right? But like we were talking a few months ago, like when you play a strong player, it doesn't take like more than 2 seconds, 3 seconds, but you can feel it, right?
Yeah,
you feel
yeah.
the weight. It's almost like gravity. You feel like you can feel. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like how does that happen? Like how do you do that, or is it just something that just happens?
So what I wanna say is maybe it might be a little bit different from what you wanna ask me, but I think Third Strike is also kind of communication always. So
Communication
between players.
between the players.
Players. So yeah, I think so. Good players have their kind of specific signature moves, but besides that, as we talked, you can tell he or she is good or not. Maybe after just 1 second or 2 seconds, how he moves, how he like I don't know how I can explain it, but
The movement, the way.
movement and strong players are really cautious, right? And then they have
very deliberate.
Yep, exactly, and then very like attentive, and I feel it because basically it's a kind of push and pull. I wanna go, but it might be really risky, right? Only when you feel you figure it out, it's not risky. You can go, but when opponents is really cautious, against your approach, actually, basically going forward is always risky in this game, of course, because you have to leave your blocking when you go forward technically, because you have to push your stick like to the front direction, and then it means of course you can't block anything. It's very simple, but I think ultimately this game is all about go forward or go back.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Like all fighting games, right?
Yeah, all fighting games, especially 2D fighting games. There is no like block button, so you have to be really careful when you wanna like go forward, be offensive. But at the same moment, if the opponent is really careful, here we can see ground game, maybe which is called ground game, and then there is some tension between two players, and then which I wanna call like maybe communication, right? But if the opponent is not so strong, right, compared to you, I don't feel any risk. It's really easy to approach, and then
there's a freedom of movement.
Exactly.
You feel like you can move wherever on the screen,
and then
without
suddenly
resistance.
Yeah, exactly, and then suddenly, which is not so fun. So yeah, I don't wanna say mean things, but if you wanna play seriously, of course you have to play with the people who have similar level with you. Otherwise, it's gonna be a little bit boring. I don't wanna like kick new players' asses, every day or every hour. I don't wanna do that. It doesn't make any sense, right? So I always wanna play good players, especially recently. I'm feeling like that.
No, it's true, because like, so basically, one of the arcades where I really learned Third Strike was a place called Family Fun Arcade.
Yeah.
Family Fun. And at Family back in the day, there was always basically two cabs. There was the normal cab where everyone could play. And then there was what people called the big boy cab.
Interesting.
The big boy cab.
Big boy cab.
It was right next to the entrance. Everyone knew that was the big boy cab. There was no sign. No one wrote it down. There was no law or anything, formal law. It's just everyone knew that was the big boy cab. And unless you and you knew it was weird, right? It was never like spoken, right? No one ever came up to a person and went, "Okay, you can play on that cab now." But like people just understood, like I shouldn't play on this cab.
It's
because
very,
I'm not
very,
there yet, right?
It's very, very interesting.
Do you have that type of thing in Japan in Japan arcades where like people are like, okay, clearly we probably shouldn't play these people?
Yeah, I think
'Cause
we
they're-
we used to have like similar custom or culture
Yeah.
in Japan too. Yeah. Especially like back then, there are tons of kind of like how do you say it, like random players. Recently, the community is already kind of set up, and then we basically know every person in FGC community in Japan, so we know everybody. So, but before there were tons of like unnamed players, and then I think this time like we had sometimes this kind of big boy cab where only good players can play, and then for like other players it's gonna be a little bit challenge. It's a very challenging things to play big boys. So I think it's same.
Yeah. But my question is, right? Like, how do you get better then? Like, if you're not gonna, if you can't, if you're never gonna play people that are better than you, like, does it just go back to what we were talking about? Like,
Yeah.
well, you gotta expand your understanding of the game first, and then it will come naturally. Is that because like you said, right? Like we don't want to be like, we don't want to seem like we don't want you. You know what I mean? Like we
Of
want
course.
you to be part of our scene,
Of course, yeah.
but at the same time, what you're saying is it's important that players, understand that, like if, like for example, right, like say a new player plays Frankie for like, for 6 hours. How much is that new player gonna learn from that time?
Maybe almost nothing. I think almost nothing. Yeah, if like Frankie. So sorry, Frankie. We are using your
We keep
name.
using example because
Yeah.
we're planning on seeing him later. But
Yeah, true. So if like Frankie is really like friendly, supportive, and then if he can share like basics with this new player, maybe it's gonna be fruitful. But maybe it depends. That's why I said you should have like good supportive players around you.
Yeah, and I think even from speaking from personal experience, I think you're right about expanding your depth of the game. Because when I first started going to arcades to play Third Strike, I went to this arcade. The first arcade where I really started playing Third Strike more was a Southern Hills Golf Land. It was in I don't know, it was somewhere in Orange County.
I didn't know that.
I forgot the exact
okay.
the name of the town.
Uh-huh.
And I think for a good year and a half, I would go a couple days a week, and there were only really like 3 or 4 players that were consistently playing Third Strike at that arcade. And one of them was this Ken player. I don't know if you've heard of him, but his name is Paulie.
I don't know
Paulie.
but,
Yeah, he's he was one of the stronger Ken players. One of the first really American Ken mains. And I kid you not, Daisuke, for like almost 2 years, I would go there and I would just blow money. Like I would spend $10-15 just losing to him.
You said 2 years ago.
No, for almost 2 years, this is what I would do. I would go there and I would play Team Third Strike. He never talked to me. He never gave me advice. He never said, dude, like, but at the same time, he never discouraged me from playing. And for like a good 2 years, all I did was go to Golfland and just practically just give my money away. And I would just lose to this person. And then, and there wasn't any big epiphany or anything, but when I started to hear about, people playing this game in tournaments, then I was like, oh wow, maybe I should, actually, you know, learn about the game,
Mm.
you know? And it's only then that Paul started to talk to me because he recognized
Uh-huh.
that like good players recognize when you do your homework. Is that what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like they recognize that the only reason he did that is because he was actually studying something before he played. And that's only when Paulie started. Like he didn't like. I don't want to make it seem like he started talking to me like, oh, we became friends. Like he started to say like, this guy like for a good year and a half, almost 2 years, he didn't say a single word to me. He didn't say a word to me. No word, nothing. But then when I started like to actually like learn about the game,
Yeah.
like for example, like frame data and stuff like that, right? Then he started to. That's when he recognized, oh, okay. Because like at that point, right, as a top player,
Yeah.
I think it's important, right, that top players, like you said, are welcoming to newer players. But I think at the same time, the established, the top player, you have to show them, right, that hey, you're at least a little serious about getting better.
Yeah, and then
Because if you're not, then as the top player, why are they? Because they're investing their time.
right.
They're using their time, and so looking back on it, like I feel even worse because not only was I wasting money, but I was wasting Paulie's time. You know what I mean? And I was just wasting his time. Or maybe not. Maybe, maybe he used me as a more advanced training dummy, right? You know what I mean? Like, because remember, back in the day, there was no console, there was no training dummy.
Yeah.
So maybe that's how he rationalized it, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, God, here's this scrub again.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. He's just going to keep putting quarters and quarters and quarters in. Maybe he rationalized it and was like, well, at least he's, at least he's a training dummy. At least I can practice shit on him or
without,
something.
wasting his money.
But like when I was thinking about, I wasn't wasting his money. He would use just a quarter the whole night. And I'm like, like I would never beat him. I mean, I'm thinking back on it. I'm like, wow, I wasted a lot of this guy's time. And I'm thinking, yes, top players, should be welcoming to newer players, but at the same time, newer players also have to, newer players can't just expect to like, okay, I'm gonna play Daisuke, and then expect you to stay if you're not showing the proper amount of commitment to learning the game. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I think it's a very interesting standpoint. Yeah, actually, if you wanna get better, you have to have this kind of attitude. Otherwise, as you said, eventually you're gonna waste your time, and then also waste like other players' time. And we are doing actually big investment in this game.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it sounds borderline like elitist almost, right? Kind of. But at the same time, it's also it's like it's a give and take, right? It's like I will play you as long as you can show me that you're actually serious about learning the game.
Right.
Because the top player is under no obligation to play, right? And so.
Yeah, I think it does make sense actually. So I before I said I don't get mad at other players. I don't. But at the same moment, sometimes I'm sick of playing same players who
do the same thing.
Exactly. And then because sometimes people can seem like they are brain dead, kind of.
Jungle Strike.
We
call it Jungle
Strike. And almost, all the players, not I don't say everybody, but many players do random shit, which shows you are totally brain dead, and it's okay. I can accept it because my opponents are not you. It's okay, but I want to ask you, does it really help you? Right? Does it really help you improve, get better, be a decent player? I don't think so. I don't think so.
Like personally for me, like like when I encounter a player like that, I just try to, and this is where it might seem like to the opponent that I'm trolling, but like at that point, like if I'm facing an opponent like that, then I will use the opponent. Maybe this is where maybe I got this from Paulie, right? I use the opponent to practice things, right? Like say for example, you have a Goki player, and all he does is Tatsu.
Right.
Obviously, it's annoying. You don't want to play him. But how can I? But my thinking is, how can I make the best use of my time playing this person?
Yeah.
Because I can't control whether he comes to the cab or not, right? He's gonna come to the cab. He's gonna decide to play.
Right.
So what can I do? So maybe I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna practice red parry the Tatsu.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. True.
Because
true.
like I don't, what am I gonna do? I'm not gonna be like, I'm not gonna walk away. You know what I'm saying? Like.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I could see how like the opponent's gonna be like, oh, he's trolling me.
Yeah.
But but maybe it's not that. Maybe it's maybe it's I'm trying to, since you're not clearly, it doesn't seem like you're trying to, or I don't know. It's kind of weird because maybe some players have a mental block. It could be for a lot of reasons, but I don't know.
Yeah, but I know what you mean. I think I'm doing same things because I don't want to waste my time. So if I see the opponent is not enough strong, not as strong as me, I will do maybe some practice. But I'm trying to kind of hide I'm practicing because otherwise it.
Yeah, see, that's the difference between you and me. I don't hide the. I don't try to hide it. It's clearly I'm.
Yeah, but sometimes mine can be also really clear, and I feel sorry, but also I'm trying my best. So it's a competition between maybe you and me. How much you are trying hard, right? It's not competition of like our skill level, right? But
of effort.
Effort. So otherwise maybe you can't get better, and then otherwise you don't need to try to be better, right? Because you can do infinite casuals online, and then you don't need to be strict to yourself. You can do just casual playing every day, every night, random shit. It's still fun. It's okay. But if you wanna be better, of course, yeah.
So one last thing that I wanna ask you before we go on our second and final break.
Yep.
When you first came here, I noticed, that, you got a lot of questions about individual players, right? Like when you first got here, a lot of people wanted to ask you, who's better, player A or player B,
right.
or is this player good or this player bad? And, I couldn't help but notice that you don't like to answer those questions. Like it doesn't seem like those questions are of any interest to you. Like, can you kind of explain like why that is? Like, how come it's not really something that you worry about, or?
So
like, have you noticed that like American players?
I know, of course, I noticed.
They're very,
of course, yeah. Because of course, when I came here first, obviously I looked like the only Japanese guy in New York. So of course everybody wanted to maybe ask about other Japanese players or something. So I noticed it, but I think two reasons. So one, I didn't go to the like major events. Like I went co-op maybe 3 or 4 times, but I didn't often go to Versus or Newton, unlike other top players, right? So I can't tell who is better or something. I wanna be humble. If I had enough experience, like
knowledge
with
data,
of like other players, if I went to Versus Newton every day, at least 2 days a week, maybe I would say, oh, he's better this point, and then but this guy is better at this point, something like that. I would say that, but I can't tell you because I didn't go. And then second reason is also, as you said, actually I'm not into this kind of
discussion, or
it's
like
it's really pointless. I can say maybe in a tier 1 group, who can be in tier 1 group, maybe I can answer this question. Maybe there are not tons of players, but I think there are at least maybe 20 or 30. And then I actually hate who is the top 5 players kind of
Yeah, those
question.
questions. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Of course, I can enjoy it, and I always enjoy this conversation with my friends or with new people. I can do that. I don't mind it, right? But if you are questioning, seriously, I don't want to answer because it's pointless.
Pointless in the sense that you don't think it's of any use to you becoming a better player. Is that pointless in the?
Again, so what I feel from these questions are people are kind of, how do you say it? Like, wanna be just, wanna talk about some gossip?
Okay.
I don't know.
I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Gotta have something to talk about.
yeah, each top player has like maybe each good point or trait or something. So I think it was worth watching like all matches, from all the top players. I think it was, but it's really hard to tell, who is the best or something. So,
Yeah, because I think I think a lot of it is us sort of projecting our concerns and our priorities onto Japanese.
it's a good point. Yeah.
Because like for example, I'm a big sports fan.
Mm,
And I watch sports a lot.
right.
And I watch a lot of the KG. Shout out to KG. He watches sports too. And KG, let me ask you a question. When you go on ESPN, right? Like they have all these different shows, but it's the same shit.
Yeah.
It's just people sitting around telling us who they think are like the top 5 or the best player. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's news to them. And it's like I feel like like maybe that's why we do that, because in this culture, in American culture, particularly for people who watch sports, yeah, that stuff is very important, right? People need to know, like it's important for us, at least Americans, that we know, okay, this guy's the best, this guy's the second best, this guy's the, you know what I mean? So, but I mean, is that something that also concerns players in Japan, or is it more so, or is it not like that? I mean, I guess.
Oh yeah, could you reiterate again? So what did you say? So
like I was saying, right? Is it important? Like, do Japanese people think about that?
I know, but
like who like do players sit around and debate? Oh, this is the best player, and this is the second best, and this is the third.
Yeah, I think also Japanese players like to say
Do
that
that.
thing, and yeah, I think like maybe people, all over the world love this conversation. So I think, yeah, it's same.
But as a player trying to get better, like it doesn't seem like.
Yes, I think so, and maybe the right answer I should have said was because I think I'm the best in a way, right? I know I'm not the best, but if you wanna be a really good player, you should. Of course, you must say you are the best, right?
Or at least believe that you can win.
Yes, exactly.
Like I will win.
Yeah, and also I'm enough humble not to say I'm the best, realistically, but also I still feel some potential because I was not a competitive player back then. So, but I think good players are still like doing their best efforts in their own lives, right? Like we are talking about Frankie a lot today, but I think he's making a lot of effort. That's why he's really strong, and
Because he cares.
he cares, and then other Japanese players as well. So, okay, maybe we can say who is the best, who is the second best. On this, on this cut, well, at this point we can say it, but we can't tell the future. So that's why maybe I'm not so into this conversation.
Yeah.
I want to be the best, right?
Yeah, that's my biggest problem with those type of sports debates, right? Like, like for those of you who follow basketball on my stream, I was watching an ESPN show, and like a bunch of the announcers were like super upset that this one guy didn't include LeBron James in his top 5 best basketball players. And it's like, like full disclosure, I'm a Laker fan, but I'm not the biggest LeBron fan. and LeBron has definitely been a very successful player. But last year he didn't make the playoffs. Last year he was hurt, and so it's like, but people feel like reputation matters. You know what I mean? Right? Like, and and I think that's really smart what you said. Right? You can't predict the future.
No.
Maybe the best attitude is, always move looking forward. Right?
Exactly. So what I want to say is the scene is not finished yet.
Yes.
Everybody
And
is still
in a
playing.
sense, it will never be finished, right? It's like infinite. Almost.
Infinite, and then that's why here we are having DTN on next weekend, right? People who are really dedicated their lives to this game, investing their time to this game, are trying to make the scene alive, right? So that's why maybe I don't want to say who is the best. You can be the best. So am I.
Yeah,
right?
you can be the best, but I'm still gonna beat you the next time we play, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, right? So speaking of Defend the North, we're gonna take our third and final break.
Yeah.
But when we come back, I definitely want to talk to you about Defend the North.
Okay.
And I know I know what you guys are waiting for. I know what you guys are waiting for. Don't worry. Don't worry. I know that this has been, this has been a very serious podcast.
Serious.
But
wow, I didn't know
but don't
that.
worry. You know what's coming in the next segment. Thank you, Locus. So I don't have to say it. So we're gonna take another 2 to 3 minute break, and then we're gonna come back with the end of the podcast. And so don't go anywhere, guys. All right, guys, welcome back to more Mutant XPerience podcast. KG, the legend, for those of you who are wondering, KG is in America now, trying to fight Guile.
Yeah, in Air Force Base.
Air Force Base. Actually, we don't know what base it is. We're playing on the SNES Mini, and there's no more USA logo. So I think Guile has moved on to being a private contractor. Maybe he's a mercenary now. Blackwater. All right, so we're kind of running late, so we're gonna go ahead and end the podcast soon. But before we end the podcast, obviously, got to do two things. Number one, got to talk about Defend the North. Defend the North. It's next weekend, guys. July 19th to the 21st. Remember that Defend the North is the site for the Jazzy Circuit finale. The Jazzy Circuit is something that myself and a bunch of other Third Strike players started late last year. It's all coming to fruition next weekend with the finale. Remember, there are 4 last chance qualifier spots available. There's already 12 players that have qualified. And I wanted to ask you, Daisuke, how familiar are you with the players that have qualified already for the Jazzy Circuit finale?
I think I know quite a lot of those folks. I think obviously 5-star and right.
So let's just go ahead and run it down.
Oh yeah.
So remember, right, that there are 12 players that have already qualified for the Jazzy Circuit finale. And so remember that at Defend the North, on the Saturday of Defend the North, July 20th, from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m., we're going to have the pools.
Wow. Long
right?
day.
160 players. And out of all those players, 4 people are going to advance to the finale, which is from 8 p.m. to whenever we finish.
I see.
And right now, the 12 players that have qualified already, that means they don't have to play in pools, right? They can just chill, right, the whole day until, and they have to play until 8 p.m. on Saturday.
Yeah.
So let's do them in order. The first player that qualified for the Jazzy Circuit was Exodus. Strong Dudley player from Maryland. He qualified at TFC by beating Donka and Sandy Bags at TFC. And so, you haven't played EXO yet?
I have.
Bit? Yeah.
Yeah. We played around the New Year's Day in Japan. I mean this year. So I know him a lot. Yeah, he's. I think I can say he's my good friend. Yeah, I like him.
Yeah, and so obviously EXO's a serious contender. And then the second person to qualify, yes, KD, that is KG doing the Mutant Challenge. So the second person to qualify was 5-star at Saturday at Dawn's. And so obviously you and 5-star have a lot of history. You teamed up with him at Co-op Cup.
Yep.
Again, it's just amazing, right? Like, it's been a really long time, Daisuke, since we've had one tournament where all of the strong American players are going to be in one place. And I think that's really exciting. And, and again, the reason why did we do this? Because, Third Strike 20th anniversary, I wanted to make sure that, we remembered that we did something, special.
Our dedication.
Yeah. And so we have 5-star. Then the third player to qualify, I believe, was at Frosty Faustings, Chris G. Now, I'm not sure if you've played Chris G.
No, I haven't played him. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, obviously, Chris G is, a savant, right? FGC savant. He plays so many different games. But his really first love was Third Strike. And so, shout-outs to Chris G for continuing to play Third Strike, even though he's a big star now. The fourth player to qualify was Ryan from Free Play Arcade. He won the Free Play Arcade tournament. Ryan, Chun-Li, and you teamed with him at Co-op Cup as well.
Yep.
Then we also have someone you may not be familiar with, Dirt Master, Adam. He's from Chicago. Interestingly enough, see, and I don't want to start anything, but I think just from the general feel of the scene and what people are talking about, I feel like a lot of people are sleeping on Dirt Master. I feel like a lot of people aren't really paying attention to Adam because he's an older player, but he's very experienced. He's been to Japan multiple times. But because he lives in Chicago, and because he doesn't really travel much, no one really is familiar with him.
Interesting.
But he's good. He's no scrub. He's
Of
not
course,
going to
because
be
he's
easy out.
qualified. Yeah.
And I think a lot of people need to pay attention to Adam, and and because I think Dirt Master is gonna turn some heads at the finale. And then the final auto qualifier was Yuki. He won the tournament over Tommy Two Step, I believe, in the grand finals of Texas Showdown. I'm more interested to see who Yuki is going to use.
Oh, I see.
Because obviously Yuki is, his main is Yun. But, last TFC he played Makoto. So I'm kind of curious to see who Yuki is going to, And then obviously those are the 6 auto qualifiers. And then remember, in addition to the 6 auto qualifiers, the 6 players who finished the season with the most points also were qualified to the finale, and that includes Frankie. We don't need to talk about him anymore. We're talking about him a lot. Luke from Austin, Goki player. Have you played him?
Yeah, he's a really decent, good player. We played in Japan as well, so yeah, he was really strong.
Yeah, and he's probably the tallest third strike player.
I think so too.
Right.
Yeah,
he's like 8'12" or something, dude. So that's Luke qualified. Dr. Steelhammer.
Yeah.
And again, trolling aside, Dan has showed a lot of dedication. At the beginning of the circuit, he was like, I don't care what anyone thinks, I'm gonna get into this finale. You know what I mean? And he did it. Sure, through sheer attrition, right? He got in, and you could definitely tell, because you may not have been able to tell, Daisuke, because you just moved here a few months ago, but I was there at the beginning,
right?
Where Dan decided, okay, I'm going to compete, and the progress that this guy has made from late last year to now, to me. That's what really, that's what really excites me. When I see players grow, and that you could see them get better.
Yeah, and then that is actually, exactly what we were talking today. Because, obviously we have to have newer players.
Yes.
And then we wanna, kind of enjoy and make the scene together. So yeah, I know what you mean. He's a really, we need him.
Yeah, because he's dedicated and he's shown that he's willing to put in the work. But yeah, I'm just reading the chat. so yeah, I bust Dan's balls all the time, but you got to give credit where credit's due. You know what I mean? And so shout outs to Dan for making it to the finale. Who else am I forgetting? Obviously. Who else did I forget? Justin Wong. Yeah. I wanted to mention him last, but there's another person that Who else? I don't even. I came up with the rules. I don't even know the people who are in.
Tommy.
Tommy Two Step.
Yeah.
Tommy Two Step. Chun player from Austin as well. Tommy, he's another guy that's shown a lot of tournament moxie.
Cool.
He's really shown that he can step it up in big pressure situations. Like we were talking about Daisuke. Some of the players in this field, they might not be, there's still a wide range of skill level. But the one thing that all these players have in common is that they're all very dedicated, to being good at this game. And, you can't take that away from anybody. So shout outs to Tommy for being able to auto qualify. Also, Big Nasty, Caesar, Hugo player. That's another thing I love about this field, Daisuke. It's just so diverse.
Yeah.
We have, we got 3 Chuns, 2 Cans, a Urian, a Hugo, an Elena, Adam, Dirt Master Elena. We have a Yun, Dudley. And then obviously we have the Chun, Justin Wong. And what are your thoughts? I'm going to put you on the hot seat, Daisuke. What are your thoughts on potentially facing, Justin Wong or any of the players? Because obviously you didn't qualify because you came late to America. So you're gonna have to go through the pools. But out of those 12 players, are there players that you're really looking forward to playing? I mean, like for example, like you've never really played Chris G. Are you interested to actually finally get to play him? I mean, how about Justin? Obviously, he's a legend. It would be great to be on stage with him.
Yeah, actually, again, so I'm into playing like any good player at this time because, like, as you said, everybody is finally, showing up at the same moment at the same venue, which is the first time maybe in America, right? So I wanna play all of them, but also I'm kind of, personally a little bit excited, if I can fight with my like teammates, right? Because of course I wanna play other players.
As in like Ryan,
Five stars.
Yuki.
Yeah, because I have never like joined like this kind of individual tournaments. I only joined a couple of maybe team tournaments, including co-op. So maybe I think it would be very fun to fight my team members and also legendary good players. And also, I was actually surprised America has a lot of good players, which is really diverse.
You heard that, America? Japan doesn't think we're free. We got see. Look, Daisuke even acknowledges
Sadly,
that we're not bad.
I'm not a representative of Japan. I'm just a low tier, random Japanese dude. So yeah, but I think the scene in America is quite interesting because people are really trying hard to again make the scene alive. And obviously there is a cultural difference. I can see the strong like mindset of like maybe DIY mind. So you guys are really, I know, trying really hard, and then I wanna really appreciate it because actually the moment I came was kind of perfect timing as a player, right? And I'm really enjoying the moment because of you guys. So I wanna appreciate it, and then yeah, America has I think potential to be much better if we can like kind of cooperate. I wanna say cooperate,
A real cooperation
cup. And this is just an idea, but we might be able to have the other chapter of cooperation cup in America.
American
right,
co-op
right.
cup. Oh,
we might
I don't know about. What about Canada? G-type Canada. We'll get to you next season, all right? If there is going to be a next season. we gotta take baby steps.
Yeah, or you guys might be able to kind of cooperate with Matsuda-san or some other,
Maybe.
Yeah, so yeah, this is just my imagination, but I mean, what I'm saying is there are many good players, and then some of them are actually kind of hidden players. I don't think a lot of you guys know me, regardless of my level, skill set, But I mean, as you said, there is a good player. What is his name?
Oh, Dirtmaster Adam from Chicago.
Adam, yeah, and so this kind of opportunity is a really good for like good to see each other and anyways like grow our community together. So
I just think
cool.
there's for me, I just think there's a lot of third strike talent in America that we don't even know about. Like I think there's a lot of players that I think there are a lot of people that have the potential that there's potential there, right?
Right.
Like, and I feel like you said, right, we need new players. And to me, that's really exciting, right?
Yeah,
Discovering,
cool.
it's like this is something maybe you and I can relate to, regardless of country or differences. But when you're in the arcade and you play when someone plays you, they get on the cab, and then you realize that they're not scrubby, right? They're good, or they're like that makes you feel good too. It's like
It's true.
it's that positive feeling, and you're like, whoa.
Very positive. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, we're gonna go ahead and end the stream soon, but before we do that, Daisuke, since this is your first time, and hopefully not the last time on the Mutant XPerience podcast. We'd love to have you back. Maybe a post DTN victory speech, or are you gonna win DTN, Daisuke? Put you on the spot there.
Oh, this is your hot spot.
Right? Hot spot.
What I wanna do is I wanna show really good Ryu playing.
Yes.
Maybe you guys have never seen that. Even maybe Japanese guys haven't never seen such a good Shinku Ryu. I don't mean not only myself, but I think Shinku Ryu is a really cool character, and then that's why I chose and then kept playing this character. You asked me today why I'm playing, right? Even I can't explain the reason, at some point, because I love this character, even though I didn't play Ryu in other series, because I played a little bit Street Fighter 5, but I chose Nekari, I didn't play Ryu, right? Even though Ryu was very strong at the first series, whatever. But I mean, I wanna show like my best and my best Ryu, and I hope, which is very cool, and because this game is very deep, we have to explore more. So if I can show my potential and Shinku Ryu's potential, I think, which also means there is a hidden potential in this scene, in this game, and then eventually which can show the depth of this game, and again, people, community, right? So this is my assessment.
Yeah, and I hope the American public will be able to appreciate that, because like we were saying earlier, I think Americans were very hung up on results, and one of the biggest knocks on Third Strike by Americans is they say, oh, Chun Yun Ken, right? Chun Yun Ken. Like, Third Strike is boring. It's not balanced. It's always Chun. It's always Yun. It's always Ken. And that's kind of like why I like using Necro too, because it's at some point we have pride in our characters, and we want to show people not just that these characters can excel, but because those characters can excel, it's a sign of how deep the game is, like you were saying.
Right. Right.
So hopefully, well, I'm looking forward to seeing your Ryu, and so good luck at DTN, Daisuke. But before we go, guys, I know you guys want to see it. I know KG's been waiting to see it. I know KD, Vitriolic, Locust. I see you all in the chat. So, Daisuke, since you're new here on the podcast,
yeah,
I wanted to introduce you to something that we do on every episode, and it's called Pack It Up. And so basically what I do is I choose 5 examples of Third Strike that's not so high level. Sometimes mistakes, sometimes decisions that make you go, why you do that? But since you're our guest tonight, Daisuke, I thought that for tonight's Pack It Up, I would do an all Japan Pack It Up.
Really? Wow.
And not only is this Pack It Up include all Japanese players, but it's all included, but they were all taken from the last cooperation.
Wow, it's cool.
Now, I want to tell you guys, right? You know how hard it was to compile this Pack It Up?
I think so,
because at Co-op Cup, everyone is making no mistakes, right? Like, everyone is playing so solid. And I had to go through hours just to find things, right? But I think I found them. And so, without further ado, guys, this is a Cooperation Cup all Japanese player edition
cool.
of Pack It Up.
Wow, you
all
got
right?
it.
So you ready?
Yeah.
You ready, guys? All right, let's do it. Let's make sure I got the right scene. No, that's not it. That's not it either. Okay, Pack It Up.
Pack It Up.
There you go. All right. Now, you might need to help me with the names. I wrote them down, and I don't know where the paper is. But anyway, so nominee number 1, this Hugo player.
I think YSB, right?
YSB?
Look,
YSB.
obviously. Hey.
Is that YSB? Oh, my God.
This is YSB, right? No?
I don't know. I don't think that's why.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because hey, can you stop a little bit?
Oh yeah. So, well, I can't really stop it, but.
Oh yes, I'm sorry.
We'll go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Explain.
Yeah, I might be wrong. If I was wrong, sorry guys. But I think it must be YSB because as I said, we can tell in 1 second or 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Right. I see his like Shoryu command throw.
Backbreaker. Yeah.
Backbreaker and then he immediately did super. It looks like YSB.
Is that YSB? Is that the YSB?
Yeah,
okay.
looks like.
Okay,
But
okay.
it might be wrong, but
Okay.
sorry guys.
It's okay. So we'll go ahead and watch it again. All right.
I guess.
So, like I said, nominee number 1, a Yugo player who may or may not be YSB, manages to land this Hammer Frenzy on this Ken player. He ended up losing the round anyway, but I thought this was pretty funny.
Yeah, but this backbreaker was really deep.
Yeah,
Maybe
very deep.
Some of listeners
Yeah.
don't get the meaning, but it's really deep.
So this is Pierre, actually,
Oh, really?
my
He played?
favorite Urian player, and this was so clutch until he did the wrong combo.
Wow.
He should have just done tackle Aegis, right? So right, that this is correct. Good job.
He had meter.
Yeah, he had
meter.
and instead he did
What?
EX.
And what is this? What the fuck is that?
Okay, so this is another clip. This is Elena with a very poor usage of healing. I mean, maybe, I guess he bought himself a few seconds, but look at his meter. Okay. So healing, right? Healing. Then we got the
But for me, it looks not so bad decision. Maybe that Rhino phone was terrible. That
that Rhino horn was terrible. That's
terrible. Yeah.
So this is Nuki versus Rikamaru.
Cool.
And look at Nuki, right? He just will not move from that table.
Oh, he's hiding behind the table. Wow, it hit.
Look how many seconds Nuki hid behind that table.
Wow. And then eventually,
And Rikamaru just couldn't help himself.
yeah.
He already messed up here. Watch, he pressed a button here. Yeah, see?
Uh,
Oh man, that was funny.
wow, it's funny.
And then nominee number 5. I hate to do this to you, Sugiyama. You know I love you, Sugiyama. You're my idol. You're the guy. You're the reason I play Necro. But come on, dog. Come on, dude. Come on. This is... How are you... Why? Come on, Sugiyama. Come on, man. That looked like Mutant XP. That didn't look like Sugiyama, dog.
Oh my god.
You know what's funny? He made it so that he did the Fierce really early to make sure he hits him, so he didn't shake out a dizzy, and he ended up messing up the...
I guess maybe he tried to do maybe standing medium kick.
I don't know what he tried. You know, in that situation, actually, if he had meter, right, what I like to do is I just like to do back roundhouse EX.
Right.
Because it takes one less point of damage, but it's easier to do. There's less steps. So all I have to do is back roundhouse EX lariat instead of doing the fierce. And then you have to do back medium, or back strong, and then EX.
It's true.
Too many steps. Just do back roundhouse EX.
Easier. Much easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But even those, that's how godlike the Japanese, that's how godlike you guys are, Daisuke. Even that pack it up was not even that bad. Like,
not bad.
But for Japanese, maybe bad. Maybe.
Oh.
All right, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. But before we get out of here, guys, remember, Defend the North next weekend. A lot of the people in the chat are gonna be there. This is probably gonna be one of the last few times I'll get to address everyone. But if I forget to do this, I just wanted to thank everyone in the Third Strike scene for supporting the Jazzy circuit. Without you guys, I know you guys like to, give me dabs and tell me, good shit about the circuit. But to be honest, guys, like there is no circuit without you guys. Without you guys, participating and believing in what we were trying to start. The circuit was just a big, I kid around with a lot of the Third Strike players. The Third Strike, the Jazzy circuit was basically a Ponzi scheme, right? You know what I mean? Like, hey, I was trying to sell you guys something that doesn't exist unless you guys participate. And you guys came out and you participated, and I can't thank you guys enough for doing that. Daisuke, thank you for coming to DTN. KG, you're gonna be there too. Now Daisuke Daisuke is your senpai now, right? He's your teacher now, his Ryu sensei. So, is there anything you want to say before we get out of here, Daisuke?
Yeah, not really, but yeah, again, thank you for having me, and I'm really excited to join the DTN, and I know again you guys are working so hard, right? So
It'll be good. It'll be good.
Yeah,
it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and one thing, actually, I don't think we have answered any questions, from chat. So maybe next time.
Maybe next time. Maybe we'll have a Daisuke Part 2 podcast.
Or maybe just
just
at DTN.
Yeah,
we can talk.
Definitely. Daisuke will be there. Ask him all the questions you want. And so once again, guys, DTN next weekend. Follow me at Mutant XP. Follow the Jazzy Circuit at the Jazzy Circuit. Thanks, guys, and we'll see you guys next week at DTN. Later, guys.
Thank you.